I never once expected that as the top surgeon in the entire country,
the hospital would actually fire me for supposedly poor medical skills. They even planned to hand my entire department head position, along with all my patients, straight over to a brand new intern who just walked through the doors.
While I took off my white coat and packed my things to leave, the very intern who replaced me dropped to his knees right outside the director's office, crying and begging loudly. He cried out, "Director, Dr. Diep has masterful skills, absolutely unmatched in the entire country. Please do not fire him. If you really want to do that, I will resign too." Everyone around praised him for being so incredibly loyal, while I just walked away completely cold. Back in my previous life, he claimed to possess these special golden eyes. He said he could look right through a patient's heart without any equipment and find the exact illness. Oddly enough, every single diagnosis he made perfectly matched the reports I gave out. Thanks to that trick, this intern quickly became the shiny new face of the hospital. As for me, just for prescribing standard test forms, I got totally labeled as a corrupt, mediocre doctor. They claimed I made patients waste their money, suffer for no reason, and even miss their absolute best treatment window. In absolute rage, a patient's family stormed right into my office with a weapon and brutally ended my run. Waking up again, I somehow traveled right back to the exact day that intern announced his golden eyes. "Dr. Diep, do we have the old man's diagnosis results yet?" "Why are you just spacing out like that? The old man is still waiting for his results in the ward." Director Liu patted my shoulder, totally startling me. Looking down at the diagnostic report right in my hand, I finally realized I had actually been reborn. Just this morning, the old man was hospitalized for a severe chest pain. Since he is the father of a highly important figure, our hospital treated him like absolute royalty. I hurriedly stood up, honestly a little bit confused. I told the director that based on the test results, but suddenly the office door flew wide open. That intern, Makibao, walked right in with total confidence, speaking loudly. "Director Liu, the old man has some pericardial fluid and pericarditis inside his heart." Considering the old man just had a bad cold about a week ago, I am diagnosing acute pericarditis, and I highly recommend conservative treatment using anti-inflammatory meds. Suddenly, my fiancée, Lu Nuyen, practically snatched the diagnostic report right out of my hands. Dr. Mack is not wrong at all. This perfectly matches Dr. Diep's official diagnosis. Director Liu got pretty curious and asked, "Dr. Mack, you stayed in the ward all morning, so how exactly did you come up with this diagnosis?" Maki Bao just smiled. "Well, I will not hide it from you. I actually possess golden eyes. My eyes are no different from a highly advanced CT scanner, completely capable of seeing right through the surface. I can see the true nature inside. As long as I focus closely on the patient's body, even the absolute smallest physical change will not escape my vision. And the best part is, it causes zero pain for the patient. Even though I had heard this wild claim before, I still felt completely shocked. Listen to this. In my past life, on this exact day, after Matt Kai Bao revealed his golden eyes, he constantly used them to examine patients and became incredibly famous. Quite a lot of patients and their families truly believed that even the most advanced equipment only managed to produce basic, static images. They thought two-dimensional scans could not reflect the full condition. To them, Matt Kai Bao's golden eyes were somehow the most visual and totally reliable diagnostic method out there. Crowds of people rushed in for his checkups. Meanwhile, as a strict believer in actual science, I always considered those golden eyes to be nothing but a cheap, mystical parlor trick. Out of deep responsibility to patients, I firmly banned Maki Bao from using that sketchy method, demanding all doctors under me follow strict medical procedures. If a blood test was needed, do it. If equipment was required, definitely use it. But incredibly, every single time, Matt Kai Bao perfectly diagnosed the exact medical condition. He even provided the exact same treatment plans as me. Because of this, more patients started resenting me, complaining. He already saw the illness, so why force us to waste money on tests? They said Dr. Deep is clearly just a low-rate doctor who takes shady medical commissions. My old man is already 80 years old, and every test nearly finishes him off. A dark-hearted piece of trash like that absolutely does not deserve to be a doctor. If he had not forced those exams, my relative would never have missed the treatment window. It is entirely his fault, and I want him to pay for ruining everything. Not long after, a patient's family member stormed right into my office with a weapon, brutally attacking me 99 times. The whole incident spread online, and netizens universally applauded the act. They claimed the attacker was actually a hero, removing a terrible pest for the people. My parents were completely heartbroken over the devastating loss of their son. Unable to handle the intense cyberbullying, they both eventually faded away from the grief. These past memories played like a slow-motion movie. I gritted my teeth hard, tightly steadying my mind. In this life, I absolutely must uncover the truth so that every single lie gets completely dragged into the light. A hearty, cheerful laugh echoed outside the door. The old man, Thu, gave a big thumbs up. I told you so. Dr. Max staring at me constantly was actually him diagnosing my illness. He called out to Director Liu. A talented doctor like Ma Qibao is someone the hospital absolutely must prioritize training. Saying that, he shot a sharp glance right at me. He muttered that it is totally unlike someone claiming to be the nation's top surgeon who suddenly becomes completely useless with their fancy equipment. Luckily, my body's pretty tough. Otherwise, I would have been a complete goner by now. Director Liu nodded continuously in total agreement. You can guess what happens next. The second old man Thu left. He eagerly asked, Dr. Mack, since you possess such an incredible technique, why did you not tell me about this sooner? Ma Qibao glanced right at me, acting all aggrieved as he whined. It is because Dr. Diep absolutely forbade it. That single sentence made everyone furious.
Dr. Deep is clearly just acting incredibly jealous of Dr. Mack. Honestly, I think he is just terrified of losing his precious department head position.
He worked incredibly hard to snag this chief position. Of course, he's completely terrified that Dr. Mok is going to steal his spot. Even Liu Nuyen takes his side and questions me. Dr. Mok has superhuman abilities for the sake of the patients, so why on earth are you forbidding him from using them? What exactly are your intentions here? I completely ignore their harsh gossip, keeping my eyes locked intensely on Ma Qibao and no one else. His gaze isn't as rock solid as it was just a moment ago. It's actually starting to look pretty panicked. That just fuels my suspicion even more. This GoldenEye nonsense is absolutely just a convenient excuse. He definitely used some trick to secretly get my test results and copy my treatment plans. The very next morning, Ma Qibao runs over as usual to be my diagnostic assistant, but I reject him flat out. He looks pretty guilty. Teacher Diep, you were running late yesterday, and I was so scared old Mr. Thu would blame you, so I used the GoldenEye. I know you're furious. You can hit me or scold me. Just don't blame my desperate desire to save people. Whispers and harsh criticisms immediately erupt all around us, but I don't care at all. Thinking about it, finding out those test results really isn't that hard. You just need a solid relationship with someone working over in the lab. Once the scans are done, they can send the images right over. Absolutely no need for a so-called golden eye. Plus, Ma Qibao has been my assistant for 6 whole months. He definitely understands my prescription habits and treatment methods perfectly well. Basing his treatment plan on those scans to match mine isn't strange at all, but I honestly don't believe he can pull this off without seeing those images. There's no way he's actually that magical. Not long after, an emergency patient gets admitted for suddenly fainting.
After a basic check, I send the patient to the lab. I tell a friend working there to send me the images immediately. Do not upload them to the system or tell anyone else.
Even though she doesn't know why, she follows my instructions completely. Half an hour later, I grab the diagnosis and treatment plan, heading to the ward. Just as I'm about to push the door, I hear Ma Qibao's voice. Ma'am, your son's irregular heartbeat is totally due to the weak contraction and relaxation of his ventricles. It's a type of arrhythmia with cardiomyopathy. The sudden death rate is high, so I highly recommend an implantable defibrillator. I stare over at Ma Qibao in absolute horror. This specific disease is incredibly easy to misdiagnose. Just like this patient right here, who has been repeatedly misdiagnosed several times before. They called it vasovagal syncope. Honestly, only doctors with massive amounts of real clinical experience can draw a conclusion this quickly. Meanwhile, Ma Qibao has only been in this department for 6 months. How did he guess it instantly? I head back to my office, sit down, and try to stay calm. Suddenly, I noticed a surveillance camera right above my head. Did Ma Qibao actually eavesdrop on my chat with the patient's family through this exact camera? Because right before the test, I asked the family about their medical history, and they specifically mentioned this exact disease. If he somehow knew all that beforehand, his perfectly accurate diagnosis completely makes sense now. That very night, I quietly swapped my surveillance camera with the one from the room next door.
During ward rounds, I clearly see Ma Qibao's phone flash a notification. Monitor device disconnected.
The second rounds are over. He rushes straight to my door, desperately trying to reconnect the device. Just as I thought. Now pay attention. The next day, Director Lu's wife comes in for a serious cardiovascular issue. Once again, I kick Ma Qibao out, examining her entirely by myself. After running a series of tests like angiograms and an ECG, I head straight back to my office.
Right then, Director Lu walks in, bringing Ma Qibao and a huge crowd of medical staff with him.
The director asks, Dr. Yeep, you have a solid conclusion for my wife's condition, right? Dr. Mark says he already finished diagnosing her using his golden eye. I want to compare the results and see. Ma Qibao steps up with total confidence and starts talking. The director's wife has serious arrhythmia, along with this hypokinesia in the basal region of her left ventricle. Considering her past medical history of lung tumors, this could very well be early-stage sarcoidosis. I highly suggest immunosuppressants, combined with a permanent dual-chamber pacemaker. Liu Yuyan storms in, snatches the medical report right out of my hands, and without even looking at it, holds it high up for absolutely everyone to see.
Look at this, everyone. They're exactly the same.
A loud wave of amazed gasps echoes out. I'm completely confused, stumbling back into my chair. I clearly swapped that camera. There is absolutely no way he heard my conversation with the director's wife. So how on earth does he still know the exact condition and the perfect treatment method? I stare at Ma Qibao in sheer panic, completely unable to figure it out. Director Lu's eyes are practically burning with absolute fury.
Dr. Yep, I've heard all about your bullying in this department, purposely suppressing Dr. Mok at every turn.
You mentor him, yet you lock him out during exams. It's simply outrageous. I try to open my mouth to explain, but he just frowns at me in disgust.
Ziafam, I expect you not to tarnish the title of a doctor. If this happens again, this hospital simply will not keep you around anymore.
With the director saying all that, the other doctors instantly take the golden opportunity to trample all over me.
Wow, wasn't our famous chief so incredibly arrogant before? Thinking he's an absolute genius, completely ignoring the rest of us. Look at him now.
We have a real genius now, so he's just an ordinary guy. If Dr. Mok tries just a little bit harder, he'll crush the chief right under his feet. Liu Yuyan stands there the whole time without saying a single word in my defense. Once the crowd scatters, she suddenly turns on me.
She tells Diep Farm he never used to be this kind of person. She is just completely and utterly disappointed in him.
Pretty soon after that, the public rumors start tearing my professional medical ethics completely apart. Accusations of misdiagnosis, taking kickbacks, taking bribes, and having terrible ethics all come crashing down on my head. And the thing that drives me absolutely crazy is that I cannot even figure out the real reason behind it all. While I am stuck living in doubt and frustration, Ma Qibao is thriving like a fish in water, getting even more respect from the hospital leaders. The management board even plans to break the rules and promote him to department head.
They want him to take my spot, but surprisingly, he actually turns it down, coming by every single day begging to be my personal assistant. Half a month later, a patient suffering from heart failure after a traffic accident gets rushed to the emergency room. I am the doctor on the night shift, so naturally, I am the one taking this critical case.
After getting a clear read on the situation, I ordered the usual lab work, telling them to go get tested.
But the patient's family angrily pulls me back. They yell out, "You are that totally cold-hearted doctor who takes kickbacks, DFM, right?" He says he does not need me examining his wife, demanding to see Dr. Mok, the guy with the golden eyes. I plan to tell Ma Qibao to come calm the family down, but when I turn my head, he is nowhere to be found.
He ignores phone calls, leaves text messages completely unread, and a few security guards sent to find him cannot see his shadow anywhere. Meanwhile, the patient's heart rate keeps dropping fast.
The heart structure is incredibly complex. Without angiogram imaging, doing surgery is basically playing a blind guessing game, easily pushing the patient into way more danger.
I do not dare to risk the surgery right now. Time just keeps ticking by, but Ma Qibao still never shows up.
I immediately decide to wheel the patient in for testing. 5 minutes later, all the scan images are successfully sent over.
I quickly write up the diagnostic report and lay out a treatment plan. Right then, Ma Qibao suddenly appears out of nowhere, comforting the frantic family, introducing himself as Ma Qibao. He claims he used his golden eyes to clearly see her severe lung trauma, plus a fractured rib and a completely abnormal heart valve, insisting she desperately needs an emergency surgery right now. The frantic family treats him like a total savior, quickly and desperately clinging right onto him.
They beg Dr. Mak to do the surgery and save her. Maki Bob pats the man's shoulder, speaking gently.
He tells the man to rest easy, calling Dr. Diep the top surgeon in the entire country, assuring him the operation is in completely safe hands.
No matter how many personal conflicts Maki Bao and I have, we can never put them above a patient's precious life.
I check my watch. Even though getting pulled aside caused a slight delay, we are still well within a controllable time frame. I immediately confirm the surgery and proceed. 6 hours later, the operation finishes successfully. But the second I step out of the operating room, a massive slap lands straight across my face.
The husband grits his teeth and screams out, asking if I intentionally tried to ruin his wife.
He warns me that if anything bad happens to his wife, he will absolutely never let me get away with it.
I had been standing for 6 straight hours, utterly exhausted. That one slap sends me tumbling right to the floor. Director Liu shouts from above, saying he thought I was just petty, but assumed I at least had some medical ethics. He says he completely misjudged me. I clutch my face, and before I can even ask why, Makir Bal steps forward with teary eyes.
He cries out, "Dr. Yep, I know you are jealous of my talent and terrified I will steal all your spotlight.
So you purposely chased me away, forcing me to do heavy lifting at the most critical moment. You proved your skills, but did you ever once think about the patient? For a heart failure case, every passing second could mean losing them forever, not to mention all the severe post-surgery complications." Saying that, he holds his hands out, revealing palms covered in deep, harsh wounds that are incredibly shocking to look at. Liu Nguyen stands at me in pure shock. She asks if I really played games with human lives just to prove my own worth. The medical staff, standing by watching the drama, immediately add fuel to the fire. They sarcastically praise the department head's ethics, saying it truly leaves ordinary doctors in awe. What kind of doctor looks down on human life like that, while still demanding to be department head? Truly chilling behavior. The absolutely furious family grabs my collar, aggressively slamming my head against the floor multiple times, then tossing me aside like a completely useless dirty rag. Watch what happens next. As I crash hard onto the floor, my mind clears. Countless memories from past and present lives flash by, finally stopping on my palms. Right behind my back, chaotic whispers and insults echo endlessly. Someone tells Director Liu that if he does not punish a medical parasite like me, others will just line up to copy this awful behavior later. Exactly. It will completely ruin the century-old reputation of our hospital. Director Liu steps right toward me, his eyes totally freezing cold. He calls me out. "Diep Pham, your intentions are deeply corrupt, and you constantly suppress your own colleagues. Having someone like you in medicine is a total disgrace, a massive insult to the profession, and incredibly irresponsible with patients' lives. Starting from this very day, Dr. Mak will officially take over the department head position and all of your patients, while you, Diep Pham, are fired." The entire crowd around us instantly claps in approval. And the guy who should be happiest? Maki Bao actually puts on a deeply worried face. I slowly stand up and announce, I am officially quitting. Maki Bao's face shows pure panic, like he cannot even hold it in, blurting out loud that he refuses to let me quit. My inner suspicions only grow stronger now. Without me around, how is he supposed to even use those golden eyes of his? Director Liu just sighs heavily, shaking his head and walking away. Before this, I always relied strictly on my own rock-solid medical skills. I've always been pretty blunt, easily frustrated by pure incompetence. My direct way of talking definitely ended up offending quite a few colleagues in our department over the years. Now that I've fallen from grace, nobody even bothers offering a single word of comfort. Instead, every comment they make is just designed to sting. Just look at his usual arrogant attitude. Game over. It was only a matter of time before he finally got kicked out. His terrible reputation has spread everywhere outside now. Everyone knows he recklessly overprescribed just to secretly pocket those sweet commissions. Let's see if he ever dares to show his face in this industry again. I totally called it. Sooner or later, Dr. Mark was bound to replace him. Nobody expected it to happen this fast. We shouldn't even call him Dr. Mac anymore. It is Director Mac now. From today on, Director Mac will definitely take our department to the next level. Everyone is absolutely thrilled about Maki Bao finally getting promoted.
But he is the only one who can't even crack a smile. There's zero victory on his face, just pure, undisguised panic.
His eyes keep locking onto me. He clearly wants to speak, but with so many people around, he completely loses his nerve. Even though I'm fired, I honestly feel this weird sense of relief.
I head back to my office to pack up my personal things. Maki Bao follows me in, panicking, and grabs my suitcase handle.
Dr. Diep, you are literally the top surgeon in the entire country. The Namtan Cardiovascular Surgery Department absolutely cannot survive without you.
I will go find Director Liu right now. I will tell him I don't need this director position and beg him not to fire you.
Seeing him act this incredibly humble and desperate makes me even more confident in my little theory.
I push his hand away. No need. Namtang has your golden eyes. That is completely enough. Maki Bao aggressively blocks the door, looking exactly like he wants to say, I will have to step right over his dead body to leave.
I stare right into his eyes. And here is where the tension peaks. Maki Bao, blocking me like this, are you admitting those golden eyes are a scam? Do you actually have them?
Saying that, I forcefully push him aside and walk away without hesitation. Right outside the hospital gates, a message from Liu Nuyin pops up.
Let's break up. The wedding organizers already canceled the ceremony. I just reply with one single word. Fine. Then I drive straight home.
That night, Senior Fee calls me up. Junior Yeep, is Director Liu completely blind? He actually fired the living pillar of his own hospital. You?
I laugh bitterly, but it is the truth. Director Liu thinks having those golden eyes around is more than enough.
Senior Fee chuckles. The world is truly foolish for believing in that nonsense. I've invited you over 10 times already. Are you finally agreeing to join our hospital now?
When someone offers a hand during tough times, I naturally grab on tight. I will come over, but give me a few days. I need to clear something up first. Right then, I receive a text message. You guessed it right. Come over here immediately. After thoroughly investigating the whole truth, I arrive at Zhongtang Hospital's cardiovascular surgery department to start my new job.
The atmosphere in this department is absolutely fantastic. Everyone is fully dedicated to their actual work. There are no petty power struggles and completely no fake flattery. We just discuss difficult medical cases together and genuinely improve as a team.
I've found a true paradise. Total peace. My mind is completely relaxed.
But a month later, an old colleague, someone who never actually turned against me, randomly reaches out to chat. He asks me what kind of trick Maki Bao was playing.
When you were still there, he schemed constantly just to get you fired.
Now that you're gone, he runs to the director's office every single day, literally crying and begging the director to invite you back. You got fired, and he still will not let it go. Who knows exactly who he is acting for? People might actually think you are his lover. Saying that, he sends me a quick video clip.
You are going to love this visual. In the video, Maki Bao is kneeling outside the director's office, tears and snot everywhere, crying out, "Director Liu, I investigated everything."
He was innocent. Dr. Diep always followed standard procedures perfectly.
Every single lab test was absolutely necessary for the patient's treatment, and the costs matched the hospital's pricing perfectly. There was fundamentally zero overcharging or secretly taking commissions. If we truly wrongly blamed him, then we really must invite him back.
Director Liu holds his head, rubbing his forehead, looking completely and utterly exhausted by this. But I already left. The cardiology department lost its main pillar, and now they can only rely on Maki Bao's golden eyes to barely maintain their crumbling reputation. Left with no other choice, he patiently replies, Director Mark, Ziep Farm already has a new place now. Even if I genuinely wanted to invite him back, he probably wouldn't even agree to return. Maki Bao immediately drops his ultimate threat. If the director doesn't invite Dr. Ziep back, I will submit my resignation. Director Liu is stunned silent, his face burning bright red. Watching this ridiculously dramatic video, I can't hold back and just burst out laughing. I finally stop laughing and ask, how does he look nowadays? The old colleague sighs heavily. Since you left? Director Mark complains about eye pain daily. Those golden eyes? Completely useless now.
Now he actually has to follow standard procedures for every single consultation. So it turns out, Maki Bao's so-called golden eyes only ever truly work when I am standing right beside him. The very next day, Director Liu actually calls me up personally. He awkwardly asks about my well-being for quite a while before he finally stammers out. Ziep Pham.
I have a rather shameless request. Could you possibly come back to the Namtang cardiology department? I just respond with absolute silence.
The director quickly speaks up. If you come back, you are still the department head. I will bring you in as a special talent recruit. How about double the pay?
I give a bright smile. And what exactly happens to the current department head? Director Liu lets out a heavy sigh, looking completely deflated. Dr. Mark is still quite young. He will continue his internship under your guidance. How about that? Seeing my lack of reaction, Director Liu starts playing the emotional card. His voice actually trembles as he speaks. Without you in cardiothoracic surgery, those guys simply cannot handle any of the complicated medical cases at all.
It has only been 1 month and the hospital has already received several complaints. If you do not return, I am about to get called up for a serious talk.
Come back. Just do it out of respect for your teacher. Honestly, I already planned to return anyway. Now that Director Liu gives me a perfect way out, I naturally step down. Namtang's cardiothoracic department is practically half a home to me anyway.
Home has issues? I cannot just stand by and watch. Director Liu gets anxious instantly. Then you need to come back right now. Director Dunk at Zhongtang Hospital is a close friend of mine, so I will let him know beforehand. I hang up the phone, gently rubbing my palm as my gaze turns completely freezing cold.
Past life grudges. Current debts. Time to finally settle up.
That very day, I am welcomed back to Namtang's cardiothoracic department with an incredibly grand ceremony. Those who once ganged up to trample me suddenly changed their tune, sweetly calling me Department Head Ziep.
Mặc Kỳ Bao acts even more eager, personally handing me tea với một overwhelmingly warm attitude.
I take the cup, drinking it down in one single gulp, making his smile shine even brighter. I set it down, pretending to care. I heard your eyes were hurting. What happened? He just laughs, saying, Teacher Diep, my eyes were a bit inflamed recently, but they are fully healed now. Oh right, Elder Thu's condition worsened this morning, and he was hospitalized again. This case is pretty tough, leaving the entire cardiothoracic department completely helpless.
Now get this, I finally understand exactly why they rushed to bring me back. Turns out, Namtang has a massive VIP patient nobody dares to touch.
Rumor has it that Elder Thu initially trusted the rare genius Mak Ki Bao completely, specifically requesting him as the primary attending physician.
But without me around, that guy has absolutely zero medical skills left to use.
Seeing him stumble and fail to explain anything clearly, Elder Thu gets extremely disappointed and remembers me, the top surgeon in the whole country, personally demanding that I return to treat him.
In my past life, I experienced the extremely painful feeling of falling from the highest clouds straight into the abyss.
Now that I am back in Namtang's cardiothoracic department, Mak Ki Bao will definitely make a move, wanting to continue his golden eye legend to reach the top. I ask if all the tests are done.
He replies, not yet. Elder Thu is incredibly stubborn, absolutely insisting on waiting for you to arrive before doing anything.
Right as we speak, Mak Ki Bao trips over something. He crashes straight into me. After standing up, my entire body aches violently. It feels like 10,000 ants tearing right through my flesh, but it quickly returns to normal.
I gather my focus. Let us go see Elder Thu now.
When I see Elder Thu again, he has lost so much weight, completely covered in sweat from the pain. Only when he sees me does a real smile finally appear on his face. I carefully ask about all his symptoms, immediately prescribing a whole series of medical tests.
Half an hour later, the reports and scans are handed to me one by one. I return to my office to rest for a short while.
Arriving at the hospital room door, I see Mak Ki Bao is already inside. History is repeating itself in a weirdly exact way. He is talking completely non-stop.
I just used the golden eyes, discovering that Elder Thu's endocardium is still smooth and has pretty good elasticity.
But pay close attention here. There is zero damage, but his blood contains highly toxic levels. The heart reacts accordingly, proving he has definitely been poisoned. The moment those words drop, the whole room goes dead silent. Then whispers erupt everywhere. Poisoned. Is he actually joking? Aren't the golden eyes supposed to be a scanning device, just like a CT?
How can he suddenly see toxins in the blood now? This guy gives off a really weird vibe.
Mak Ki Bao loud in defensive, saying the blood test report shows thallium levels are way too high, leading to poisoning. Anyone doubting it can go look for themselves.
I smirk with a cold laugh, truly pathetic and stupid. Director Liu turns purple with absolute rage, yelling that is quite enough, Ma Qibao. Smooth endocardium? Good elasticity? Is this your big conclusion after so many medical years?
Ma Qibao suddenly wakes up to his massive mistake. How could an 80-year-old patient who suffered from heart disease for many years possibly maintain a smooth, highly elastic endocardium?
Even someone with just the most basic cardiovascular knowledge knows that is completely impossible. Right at that exact moment, his gaze suddenly shifts toward me, absolutely filled with pure panic.
I do not care at all. I calmly step up to the bed to address the patient's family.
Currently, Elder Thu has symptoms like shortness of breath and leg swelling. Based on multiple test results, his right ventricle is dilated and his heart rate has dropped significantly.
My official diagnosis? A heart condition caused by amyloid deposits.
Luckily, it is still in the early stages, so we can use medication for conservative treatment. Hearing my conclusion, Ma Qibao finally understands absolutely everything.
He goes completely insane, grabbing my hand tightly and forcing my palm open. The white bandage is soaked in red blood, my palm completely mangled, flesh heavily torn apart.
His face twists up in a terrifying way. So it was actually you. You are the one who ruined me.
I slap Ma Qibao directly in the face with extreme force. You eavesdropped on my thoughts and stole my achievements, so does that actually count as ruining you?
He panics, yelling that he did nothing at all. Do not frame me for this. Then he quickly grabs Liu Nuyen's hand.
Nuyen, you can vouch for me. I honestly didn't do anything wrong, right? Nuyen aggressively snatches her hand away from him and scoffs with pure disgust. Who the heck knows?
That one single sentence strikes Ma Qibao right in the chest, acting as the absolute final straw that sends the entire crowd into a loud, gossiping frenzy. Nuyen usually defends Ma Qibao no matter what, so if even she is saying that, there is definitely a real problem going on. I only heard some vague rumors before. I never expected him to actually use such vicious, cruel tricks. He looks pretty gentle and harmless on the outside. Who knew he was so utterly toxic inside? I told you guys, how could one tiny little intern have such massive skills? Turns out, he just used dirty tricks. The loud gossip outside the hospital room keeps growing by the second, so Director Liu quickly steps in to stop things from escalating. Both of you follow me into the office. Let's clear everything up. Inside the director's office, Ma Qibao still stubbornly tries to argue his way out. Director Liu, I truly do not understand what Dr. Diep is talking about. We are all dedicated medical professionals here. We all strictly follow modern science and materialism. How can anyone possibly believe in those kinds of ridiculous, completely superstitious rumors? I burst out laughing and ask him, so, Dr. Mack, you really mean to say your golden eyes have absolutely nothing to do with the occult? I pull up the video file, clearly showing footage of me visiting the Taoist temple owned by a very close friend of my great-grandfather. The day I was kicked out of the hospital, I suddenly remembered following my great-grandfather to visit that priest, right when he was extracting a mystical parasite from a woman. I asked out of pure curiosity, and he explained that there is a super rare parasite pair, male and female. If two people swallow them, the female host can hear things. The exact thoughts of the male host. Wealthy women often use this sneaky method to secretly spy on their husbands. The parasite only survives in the body for about a month. To remove it early, there are exactly two ways. First is soaking your entire body in special medicine for a full day to force it out. This method is pretty gentle, but really slow. Second is slicing the flesh and sprinkling medicine on the wound to lure it out fast, but it is extremely painful. Well, before this, my great-grandfather's old friend had already helped safely extract the parasite from my body. Ma Qibao probably assumed the parasite had simply expired and lost its effect, so today he respectfully returned it to me, fully planning to infect me all over again. But I already guessed his scheme and decided to set a trap right on schedule. Now watch this. Sure enough, Ma Qibao completely falls for it because he is truly an incompetent loser who only relies on cheap little tricks to climb the ranks. Right then, loud police sirens start wailing just outside the hospital as several cruisers speed right up to the building. Ma Qibao's eyes go wide in shock. Diep Farm, you actually call the cops? I just smirk. Oops, I accidentally let slip that little secret about the parasites. He completely freezes up in pure panic. I do not believe it. You couldn't possibly know.
I calmly reply, "You never believed me anyway, but the police will soon know exactly what the Bo and Lu families have been up to."
Matt Bao completely loses his mind and runs out of the director's office. But before he can cross the door, the police rush in and tackle him. I bandage up my wound and head to the station with the cops, reporting everything I know about the parasites and the Bo family's dark secrets.
From my great-grandfather's old friend, I learned the Bo family looks super glamorous outside, but secretly breeds these dangerous parasites inside. Meanwhile, the Liu family handles selling them to the wealthy elite.
The parasites cause extremely serious harm to the human body, ruining nerves at best and completely ending lives at worst.
The police spent many months investigating, finally wiping out the corrupt Bo and Lu families. The key figures were given the ultimate sentence, and the remnants were completely condemned by all of society.
Nguyen and Ma Bao both get sentenced to life in prison, their reputations completely ruined forever. The exact moment the verdict is announced, my heart finally feels truly at peace again.
The very next day, I hand in my official resignation. I am just so tired of a place completely filled with schemes and tricks like Nam Tang cardiovascular surgery. If not for getting payback, I never would have even returned here. Now that revenge is completely finished, I walk away without a single moment of hesitation. Jiang Tang Hospital heard I quit and sent an invitation the very next day. I eagerly accept their offer without any hesitation at all. In this life, I can finally just proudly treat patients and save people, completely free from any burdens holding me back anymore.